What's up, everybody out there? You know what we're here for today. We're here to play Numenera, Cypher System, Rise and Helix. How about this, everyone? How about this? Our protagonists.
Yeah.
Our protagonists are going through a science fiction fantasy landscape, investigating an interesting story. There's some cool tropes, some cool action, definitely some cool choices. But before we get to that, as always, we would like to express our profound gratitude for all of you who support us, watch us, and encourage us to play. We're supported by Roll20 and all of our fantastic patrons. And at the beginning of every episode, we like to read off the names of those generous patrons. So, without further ado, thank you very much. Adele, Ethan Alice the Mad, Al, Alexander Williams, Alpha Wolf 2803, Alzrit, Bernie, Buck Gregory, Chris Handforth, Doc, Emil, Fuse 82, George, James Winfield, John Fitzgerald, Josh Drew, Camo, Cat Feathers, Klaus, Long Live the Queen, Melissa, Michael, Milo V3, Ms. Grumpy, Moku, Mozart D minor, Other Guy, Perry, Foog, Porter, Puppeteer, Raffio, Ryan, Sean Kelleher. Excuse me. Hold on a moment, he says. This is so sibilant. Secrets spoken in silent solitude. Shexara. Squirrel wizards are nuts! Ha, that's great. Thomas Vogel. Toast. Vincent Hamilton. Vortex Falcon 00. What's a circle? Why gender when you can serve the Iron Pyramid? And Zoltan Kamini. All right, y'all. Thank you very much. So, we're getting back into our story. Sorry about missing last week. I was talking about some insects. It was a good time. But we're not talking about insects today. Well, I mean, there might be, depending on what you do. However, anyone? Go ahead. What was that, Chris?
You were muted.
I can't hear you.
God damn it.
Now you're
I
back.
assume there's some sort of specialized geode banana digging insect.
Maybe.
Gets in there.
It might be one that's inspired by something. Maybe.
Fair.
Right, but you know.
I didn't mean to unveil your plot, but
Oh, no worries. Listen, you are playing the genre savvy character for a number of reasons. So, and I'm totally on board with it. It has been great.
Waiting for Ruvyn to look up in the clouds and look at the GF.
Yes, exactly.
Can I get a little help up here?
So, speaking of the geodes, who would like to, or who is willing to provide for the audience a brief reminder where we are before I add some details?
And we walked from the stellar whalefall through some trees. Trees change until we found fruit-bearing trees. Ruvyn tried to kill us all by spatial chopping them from the tree and falling, and we realized that they were like 40-pound coconuts with crystalline geode-esque interiors that was actually edible. The softer parts of it that had ripened, as we discovered later from the weird sitting robin construct. And then found, I don't want to call it a town because there's like 6 of them, right? It's like not even a village.
There's 6 that you can see.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair. Yeah.
I was assuming they probably kept going.
Yeah.
Okay.
The river mansions, they called them.
Yes. Creek manses.
Creek manses.
With a little robin construct in each of them. And the masters are away for the time being, and they're actually, do we know? They're just away and will return later.
They said they were at the Grove.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, the little Robin is taking us to the Grove to meet them.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's right.
But also
rather than waiting for them to come back.
Yeah. Yes, you could have waited till nightfall for them to return. They're currently at the Grove. and you interacted with the robin, and after some...
Oh, yeah, he offered to show it to us.
That's right, exactly. After some ruffled aluminum, the robin offered to show you all to the grove. Was excited. It was entertained very much by Blayse running constantly from the Creek Manses to the Apophysis, as he called it. And you were at a prominence looking over the groves. So I think that's where we'll pick up.
Sick.
All right. So you're standing there looking over what does not seem like endless, however, a large and thick bunching of these geode-bearing trees stretching off into the distance. And the prominence you're on doesn't allow you to conveniently go down into the groves. This seems to be a looking point. However, if you were to backtrack a bit, you could go down into them. So this isn't like an out of character preventing you from doing it.
That
He
seems
took you-
like something that applies to people that care about gravity.
I was gonna say.
Right, exactly.
All
You
of
can
that is-
get down just fine. You know that. Just you would have to walk back a little bit. So the scene is you're able to see into the groves and how far they stretch. And you do see past the groves something twinkling in the distance. It's hard to discern from this vantage point. If, of course, you move past the groves and closer, you'd probably be able to figure out what it is. But it might be what the robin referred to earlier as the ice scream.
That's right.
It took away people's sleep. I don't want to do that.
Mm-mm.
Fair enough. Yeah, I'm just providing you with information about the landscape. And you do see another one of these off in the distance, looking like it might be projecting over the ice scream as well.
Okay.
And he called this the Apophysis, where you are.
Oh, yes, the antithesis.
Yeah.
Do we see elves?
You do see some here or there through the thick foliage. Foliage, as Marge Simpson says. And they seem to be reaching up or on ladders here and there, right? Some of these geodes are close to the ground, and some people have like climbed up on ladders, and very gently twisting the geodes to remove them when they're bright in color. It seems like none of them, or you don't see any of them picking geodes that are as unripe or the same color as the ones you picked before.
And what were
We messed up.
Wow, we didn't know. What
They
did
all
didn't
look
know.
the same.
what did the elves look like again? Because it has been 2 weeks and I cannot remember.
No worries.
White skinned with blue eyes, yeah. Like solid
Exactly.
blue eyes.
That's right. Okay, but otherwise fairly human standard, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They have pale skin like alabaster or still milk, and their eyes are robin's egg blue throughout. The sclera, the pupil, the iris, the entirety of it. Otherwise, they look like normal people, right? Like you see, it's challenging, I think, at this distance and the color to recognize wrinkles and small changes in the texture of their skin, but you get the impression that it isn't some kind of stone, right? Like when you see people at a distance, you can tell the difference between what looks like a layer of material over their skin and actual flesh. And it does look like it's some kind of flesh. But the color is consistent. It does not vary.
There's a Dragon Ball character that looks like this, and I can't remember what it is to find it.
Oh.
Twitch, YouTube chat, help us out. Thanks. They'll
I think
figure it out
be
for
like,
us in a
like
second.
pale purple instead of white, but with the blue solid out eyes.
Yeah. I mean, Chris and Ruvyn were accurate last week when they said that this is like a ladrin, so the reference to elves. is accurate, and at least in the sense of the color and the eyes.
Did I say
And-
Eladrin?
I thought
No, you just
did.
said elves.
Maybe you just said elf. Never mind.
Because I
I
was
know,
just
it
sitting
was-
here.
they're
I was just
talking
sitting here
about their,
thinking that it reminded me of that, but I couldn't remember what the name of them was.
I thought you said Eladrin.
Fair.
Maybe not. Well, even if you didn't, I'm happy to retroactively attribute it to you because that's what the word that came into my mind when you started referring to them as elves.
Sort of your standard elf shenanigans.
Yep. TM. Alrighty. So that's what's before you.
Sick. Let's go talk to some elves.
Sounds good. All right. So should I understand you're going to backtrack a little bit and go down to the groves?
Oh yeah.
I assume at least 3 of us are going to do that.
Is Ruvyn going to float down?
Yeah, why not?
Awesome. All right. I can tell you what happens when you do that.
Oh no.
So
How far down is it?
it is 100 feet down.
Okay.
So
Blayse contemplating, calculating.
Blaze thinking about doing something dangerous.
Just trying to make the jump.
Debating how dangerous it actually is, I think, is more the question.
Yeah.
Break all your leg bones.
If you're curious, I can give you a difficulty.
Yes.
This is a difficulty 6 speed task or might task, depending upon how you want to describe it, right? I'm happy to accept either. It is a jumping task.
Mm-hmm.
So that's typically speed, but I'm happy to accept might in the sense of this. Say, for example, you wanted to deftly land, right? Leap off and do a roll like in parkour or gymnastics, right? You could probably accomplish it. It is 100 feet up, right? So this is crazy, but this is, Numenera. So this is how we're doing this. A might task would be somehow preventing your leg bones from shattering.
Superior landing.
It's a 10-story fall. So it's softer ground, but yeah, exactly. Somehow doing some dramatic landing.
Things have been kind of slow the last little bit. I think Blayse is going to give it a shot.
Oh, shit. So Blayse ran the whole way here, and then...
Saw Ruvyn go over and said, okay.
Yeah.
So,
Ruvyn says, y'all head on down. I'll meet you at the bottom. I'm going to go get a quick peek and then just...
all right,
Blayse says, race you to the bottom.
so the Robin looks even more animated than it was before, right? With its unblinking gaze, and moves over to see Ruvyn do that, and then moves back because the Robin's now confused. Is going to lead Faye and Vette away, and is now trying to figure out what's happening.
I want to stay and watch.
Yeah, I was just saying, we're going to, because I mean, that Blayse is going to be,
but
Blayse is going to be a quick fall either way. Ruvyn, I'm not too worried about. Ruvyn's just going to float
Blayse is
in.
going to win the race.
Oh, yeah.
Let's not-
It's the landing that, Faye wants to catch.
I'm reminded of a Monty Python sketch about land diving.
Oh.
Champion was disqualified dead on impact.
Yeah, I was,
right.
before you even saying that, I was thinking Ruvyn was gonna show off and jump and do a bunch of flips and spins and stuff.
Yeah,
and
he's totally doing the speed.
but in slow
ability.
motion
Yeah,
falling.
That's great.
All controlled perfectly. The ninth world's first, 20 front flip, perfect
Yes.
landing.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm trained in jumping.
Mhm.
I get basically 2 free effort because of my edge, so I'll throw an extra 2 on top of that. Make the
Sounds
effort 3.
Yep.
Difficulty 6.
Yes,
Let's see how we go.
sounds good. Oh shit.
failure.
Oh man. I got 2.
Incredible.
That is
If you roll a 2, it doesn't matter how much edge you got, how much effort you put into it.
But this is all good.
You
This is
do
all
hit
good.
the ground first.
You needed
You
a
do
3.
win the
Definitely win the
race.
You needed a 3. Right.
Do you need
Please
a 3 or a
take
6?
Tell me what terrible thing happens to Blayse.
I think because it was the net difficulty was 1, right?
No.
It's a 2.
Oh, I thought you were specialized in jumping. I misheard you. Okay,
just
cool.
training.
You needed a 6. Gotcha.
Mhm.
Fantastic. Never mind. Anyway, you're all right about that difficulty. So, please take 6 damage from a heavy impact. However, this doesn't look like you face planting because you do have some skill. So if it's okay with you, I will describe the manner in which you land. Otherwise, you can do so. I'm totally okay with you describing it.
Okay. And just to clarify, my natural armor takes damage off of that, right?
Yes.
Cool. So decades of hardening his body with the bat.
Yeah.
So he starts out with the graceful dive and doing some aerial stuff, but ends up like careening off of an outcrop of rock. It sort of throws everything off a little bit, and he does a bit of a wild loop with debris flying and everything.
It's not Blayse's fault. It's the rock's fault. Got it.
Because Blayse should have planned it better in his own head.
Put that rock there.
Ended up catching himself on a tree and then does a pirouette down the tree and then loses his footing and kind of flaps down. But survived.
Fantastic. Yeah, the Robin watched you do this and was like so slowly leaning over, right? Until the point that it is, and this seems really weird.
It's like the cartoon when you see the characters on the top of the cliff like wincing with every hit.
Yes, exactly. The Robin's swelling a bit as you're bouncing down and does it one final time, but ultimately the Robin is flying upside down. So the Robin's turned over, head pointed down, tails up, flying back. This doesn't make any sense. Clearly concerned and animated. And then after the dust plumes rise, the Robin turns back to Faye and Vette and asks,
"That one's fine." Like Faye's just like, nah, they're fine.
And as the dust cloud clears, Blayse is standing down with his arms up like an evicted pose. Yeah!
I just want the record to show that as you described how that bird was positioned, my brain just went face down, ass up.
Let the record show. Yeah.
Let the record show. I've got terminal late 90s hip hop brain.
Yeah, beak down, tail up. This Robin knows how to be a spectator.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna turn to. Okay, well, shall we go down the correct way?
Yep. Yeah. We'll walk down.
Correct implies that there was an error.
I mean, these ones
There
prefer
was.
to walk.
We do. Yes.
We prefer to walk. Yes.
I mean, technically, I would prefer to fly, but I don't have that available to me currently.
All right, so before that happens, how does Ruvyn land? Does Ruvyn land in a dramatic timing after Blayse?
Ruvyn was like preparing to do a little show off and stuff, and then Blayse like
streaks past you.
I'm just picturing like a very just like anime drawing of this, where just like chibi fucking Blayse just sprints with like a cloud of dust behind them, and then we get the comic thing or the cartoon thing of
Yeah.
And just to clarify, like Blayse wasn't doing that to show off; he was doing that to challenge him.
I know.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I was talking for my character,
Okay.
who is concerned about showing off and looking cool.
I'm seeing all this in just like Nichijou style.
Yes, very much so.
This is great.
And so at that point, like,
Yeah.
Ruvyn has had a bit of the rug pulled out from under them and just decides to just like take one step and just float straight down, and just fast enough that their cloak like billows out behind them and stuff. It's gotta still
It does look cool.
It does look
That's
cool.
Like Doctor
But
Strange.
it's not like a little bit.
I think more like Deflator Mouse from the Tick. Image is key.
I like that reference. Yes. Okay. So Ruvyn and Blayse are down at the bottom of the cliff. And the Robin happily leads Faye and Vette down the correct path as you described it. And seems no longer surprised, back to their standard attitude or demeanor.
Is smoothed.
Yes, that's right. The aluminum foil is smooth again. So it doesn't take very long, about 10 minutes to walk down through some trees and stuff to get down to maybe 50 feet away from where they landed at the base of the cliff. And I would imagine that this area is kind of like a clearing, so Blayse and Ruvyn would have probably seen it, maybe walked over a bit. So the Robin leads you into the groves, and you hear the pleasant sound of stems twisting and snapping, and what seems like a strangely distinct slow breathing. Like when you get closer to the masters, you can tell it's definitely coming from them, but it's a little odd to you that it's carrying through. Not as though they're breathing in synchrony, but it seems like the timing of their breaths is oddly coincident.
Like almost meditative.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And slow,
Right.
not laborious, but definitely delayed.
Okay. I was
So,
wondering
yeah,
for a
you-
second if it was like something with the sound that was strange.
Oh, yeah. No, it's just it seems like a quiet area, the groves, and the only thing you hear is the fruit. And because their movements are slow and they're taking these fruits off, and you're able to recognize the sound of their breath coming out,
I think Faye is like unconsciously like holding his breath to not disturb, right?
That makes sense
Or
to me.
start breathing in sync with them.
Yeah.
Actually, that's probably more likely. It's like, oh, okay, this is what we do here. Okay. But yeah, probably make a
Are they like really? I mean, is it still like a pace of a breath, or is it still like, or is it like they're slow?
It is not normal breath pace.
Right.
It does seem like they are slow, breathing more slowly than you'd expect for a
Right.
normal person. Let's see. Yeah, have you ever heard or seen like the breathing pace of someone who's in deep meditation or has a really high cardiovascular health?
Mhm.
And so as a consequence, their base breath rate is really low.
Right.
It's like that. But they're in a kind of slow activity. So it doesn't seem like they are sleeping or have induced themselves into some deep, some meditative state. But that's what it reminds you of.
interesting.
So, if I'm happy for you all to engage them or do stuff or lead what the Robin does. If you stand there and watch for a bit, right? One of the ones nearby will actually will notice you.
Oh yeah, no, Faye doesn't want to disturb anything, but is 100% willing to walk right over to one of them to be like, "Hi, we're here, we're visiting," because that would be less disruptive than standing and staring.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. So you do that, and the one you walk up to is wearing coral tunic and brown pants. These are simple garments, it seems, of nice fabric, right? Got a high thread count. You're able to recognize that. And they turned down to you from like a small step stool when they were picking these geodes. And they look at you slowly. And you can tell that they're focusing on you, even though they don't have any pupils. And they say, Where did you come from?
The Creek Manse.
You live not at the Creek Manses.
No, I didn't say that.
And then look around and they see the Robin and they see the three others. And they look up at the Robin, and you, at this distance, you notice they don't have any facial hair, including eyebrows. They have hair on their head, but you don't see any eyelashes either. So
Are they blinking?
Turn to the Rob. Good. Was it?
Are they blinking?
They blink slowly.
Okay.
Yeah. So after a minute, you see the first blink when they look at the Robin and address the Robin and say, "Why did that one permit them to come to the groves?" And then turns away from the Robin before the Robin can respond and looks back at you all.
Faye is going to wait for the Robin to answer.
The Robin looks at you all and then looks back and says, these ones are experienced travelers.
That is true.
Then the one who's been addressing you nods at that and says, understood. This one should return to the creek manses. And the Robin nods and then flies away.
Thanks for your help.
So then this person slowly dusts off their hands and then wipes them on their pants and says, well, experienced travelers, what can I do for you?
We were hoping for an exchange of, well, we need information and are willing to, make an exchange. Or barter for it, I think is actually probably what Faye says.
It blinks and looks at the others. They blink. What am I saying? Thinking of the Robin still. And then if none of the others say anything immediately, they respond to Blayse by saying, what do you offer in exchange for information?
Well, we are experienced travelers. I can build. He can break things. They transport through, well, time and space now, technically. And that's Vette.
And that's
Well, Faye's immediate reaction was she steals things, but that's not the way to start a friendship.
That's a good show.
She steals things and reads minds. Not the way to introduce a person.
It's Jack problems in the ninth world, right? Like
We can
you
offer
can always
information of
introduce
our-
someone. Yep, you can always introduce somebody as a Jack, which is super useful. But whenever they steal, they're just a thief.
yeah.
The
Blayse is just going to glare at Faye just a moment and say, I would offer the services of the Temple of my spirit in service of labor that you might require. I don't just break things.
They nod slowly and turn to Ruvyn.
the pace of this conversation has made Ruvyn physically uncomfortable. I'll do whatever as long as we can just like. Do y'all need help with the? Can I help? Can you get geodes down for you?
They seem to stop for a moment and then slowly lick their lips, which otherwise would not seem peculiar, right? Like a common thing somebody does when their lips are dry, right? Like not when somebody is trying to be seductive, but when they do it in this moment, it is drawn out.
Mm.
And then they say, "It is our labor. If you wish to help harvest the pendulous geodes, we can train you, and you may help on the morrow."
Happy to.
They nod. They say, "We have one thing in need of breakage. It is, in a manner of speaking, a matter of spirit. So a custodian of a temple of spirit may be of help." And I say,
He gives a shuttle bow.
"We have not built anything in many years. Perhaps a builder will help us find what we long for." And then they last turn to Vette, and they say, "It is to my understanding that those who others see as a thief is also often good at helping people find what they have lost."
I don't think they actually said thief.
Definitely
Oh, really?
did not. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I
What-
didn't hear. Okay, I thought. Oh, sorry. I missed. Sorry. Let me.
For me,
That
he
was-
literally just said, "And that's Vette," and left it at that.
That was my mistake. I was leading into. Okay. Yeah. I wanted to
Yeah.
counter a criticism of
Sure.
Vette, but it wasn't a criticism that actually happened. So I'm sorry.
It's okay.
So then they would actually say, and what can you offer, Vette?
Information and assistance in any way possible. I can facilitate communication. I can. I was going to offer the ability to see and hold my little griffin, but your robins can accomplish the same thing there.
Robins.
The constructs.
That is the word.
Had you
Forgotten.
forgotten?
Y'all are like hella old, huh?
I hate that you used hella for that.
I know not this qualifier,
Very,
Yeah.
very.
yet I also no longer can mark the passage of years.
We would like to help you sleep.
Lay down.
Your
Lay down.
river
Lay down.
keeper, your construct, said that you all can't.
Oh.
And they look at you and start squinting, and they say, "It was not for that one to speak of the lost sleep." And you finally see a little bit of color come to their alabaster skin,
Oh no.
almost like
Good, it's
they're
pissed off.
ashamed.
Oh.
Yeah. They're clearly upset about it, but it would look more like shame, I think, if your characters are people who can distinguish between those feelings.
Absolutely
so
not.
yeah, cool.
So when my do they blush like red or gray or blue or
It's a red so like, you know, do you know the French phrase en colère, which
Yeah.
is sometimes used to mean angry, right? So like,
Mhm.
you would get, because like they're flushing red. Like people flush red sometimes when they get surprised and they're angry about the surprise. Yet it very quickly seems like this deep kind of embarrassment
Ruvyn
because
gets
their
none
other
of that.
facial features don't register anger.
Mhm.
Ruvyn gets none of that and just says, "What's the ice cream?"
They slowly swallow, and again, like the movement of like their throat is not supposed to be sensual, but because it's slow, it is
Again, this is
peculiar.
Physically painful to
Yeah.
Ruvyn.
Yeah, and don't worry, I'm not going to draw this out
Yeah,
of
yeah.
character for too long. I just want to, I wanted to provide.
No,
that
I love it.
experience.
Ruvyn
Okay,
is
great.
hitting the skip button in their brain.
Absolutely.
This NPC dialogue. Are we in a long
Unskippable.
cutscene for some reason? Oh God, the
You're
worst.
supposed to warn us before you start these things.
Several cutscenes will follow.
Yes.
That's right. All right, so it's called a cutscene because you should be able to cut it. All right, so they briefly distracted by their own embarrassment, they respond almost unthinkingly. They look to the side, look past Ruvyn, not rudely, but just as though they're focusing on something in the distance, and they say, "The ice cream is what robbed us of rest."
Sure. We
And
knew
then
that.
and they shake their head and say, "We failed to pass its trial."
Now we're talking.
Yes, that alerts at least 3 of 4 players.
I love a good trial, y'all.
Blayse is suddenly fully engaged.
Right.
Engaged is maybe not the word I expected you to say next. Oh,
They
boy.
say, "We know of none who have." We vaguely remember
A long time ago.
why we attempted to cross. Not we attempted to cross. Why we crossed it.
You came here.
Yes. We came from beyond. From before the ice cream.
Do you remember what was on the other side?
And then they look around and they say, "Convergence."
He's gonna put that one in his pocket. It's like, you know what, maybe we're not gonna bring that up just yet. And kind of gives a look at everybody.
Mm-hmm. That's what they say, and then they shrug and they say, "A place, a time, a life, no longer lived."
A man. A plan.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. And then they realize that they haven't asked any questions of you other than what you can offer, and they say, "Where did you come from? Did you cross the ice cream?"
No.
Came for the Greek man's.
"Yes."
I think he means before the creep.
Faye knows exactly what is meant and is not sharing that information.
But Blayse
Blayse.
doesn't. Nope. Blayse doesn't draw that connection.
Oh, I know.
I mean, Blayse can say it.
But
How did you get to the Greek manses?
we walked from the stellar whale fall.
And stops and
And from there, places beyond. Do you need to make a roll real quick, Craig?
With effort, Blayse restrains himself from answering.
You, and then looks above your or past your shoulders and says, that one spoke truth when it said that you were experienced travelers. If you have beheld the whalefall.
I mean, yeah, it seemed kind of deadly.
None have crossed it.
4.
Mm-hmm. 5 if you count the griffin.
You crossed the entirety of the whalefall?
Cross
Well,
through
we
portion
kind
of
of
it.
Yeah,
we-
portion of it.
Cross some of it.
It stretches untold leagues.
Well, we did about a day and a half of it.
And then they slowly, and this, you know, as you're watching this person, they seem more human and animate,
Mm-hmm.
right? They seem more like a person, less
Like
a
building up
statue.
steam.
Yes. And they're about to express incredulity. And the thing is, if someone wanted to like learn what human emotion looks like when someone's expressing it as a precursor to the emotions they express, this would be like a good training class.
Right.
I can watch this
Fall in
here,
slow
right?
motion.
Like,
Quick time event.
Yeah.
yes, exactly. So, they inhale, and their chest swells, and they say, "That is impressive."
Thank you.
I would suggest trying another means to travel elsewhere. Unless you wish to spend hundreds of days in the same experience, crossing it again.
Interesting.
And then they say, "What other questions do you have for me?"
What is it you need built?
I don't remember.
Do you have plans for it?
Plans?
Designs.
Yes, I may. Others may. We have not interrogated this possibility in
Time?
years long past.
Oh. Okay. Yeah.
And they say, "Good." You gonna say something, Chris?
I think Ruvyn just at this point just like takes a lap.
Okay, cool.
I need to move.
Yeah.
Like full on phase sprint, just like runs down the grove,
Ooh,
takes a peek, and then comes back.
cool.
Just like shakes it off a little bit.
Awesome. So, would you like me to tell you what you see as you move through?
Sure. If it's relevant.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just briefly say this. As you're moving through, you're moving fast, and the way that they pay attention to things is delayed. So they register your passage after you were already there, and you move really quickly. However, there are some things you notice as you get deeper in the grove. You notice that some of them are sitting in intimate positions with each other, lewdly holding hands or embracing, like in a rest against a tree here and there. And you notice no children.
Right.
So you did discuss that with the Robin, I think.
Right.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, exactly. You already got that idea. You discussed it with the Robin, but
Yeah,
as you're
newborn
moving
or
through-
died.
Yes. Either born or died.
Because you mentioned it a few times, can I ask a clarifying question?
Yes, absolutely.
Are there motions and habits and speech and stuff? Is it slow as in it's considered? Or
No.
is it slow as in temporally speaking?
Have you ever interacted with anyone who's supremely exhausted?
Okay.
As Ash
And I mean
is
that in
over
the
here
sense
laughing.
of yeah, I mean it's in the sense of like it looks like they're going to die of exhaustion.
Right.
Like someone who has pneumonia, right? Someone who has experienced drug-induced sleep loss, something like that. They don't look like they're unhealthy, other than the fact that they're talking to you like they're dying.
Okay.
It wouldn't be unreasonable for Blayse to believe that perhaps this delay gives them more time to consider what they're saying. But it doesn't look like they're pausing for thought and then responding in a normal pace. Right. So,
Okay.
yes, the last thing this one says to you is, or last thing they say to you, this particular person says is, all right, I must return to the harvest before nightfall so that we can reach the quota and we all can sleep when time comes. We will, and they look Rutherford, nod, say, we can offer you lodging for the night if you do not have it available for yourselves.
Thank you.
And tomorrow we will assist with the harvest.
If you wish to be trained, yes.
We wish to be of service.
I do not understand the reason for your offer, yet we will accept.
We're a long way from home, and you're the only people we've met.
If we aid you, perhaps you can aid us.
We will do what we can. We have also not met others in years long past, and know the feeling of homesickness without memory of home.
Gotta have a home to be homesick.
All right. So, would you like to continue to interact with this person and move around the groves for the hours, or how you want to proceed in the scene? I'm totally open to whatever y'all want to do.
I'm cool with it, everybody. I'm looking for a moment to have a quiet chat, Faye, when we're not in earshot of those other guys.
Okay.
If it's possible to arrange for that.
Yeah, we can arrange for that. Does Vette have things that Vette wants to do before we return to Faye? Okay. What about Ruvyn? No, Rubin's feeling kind of antsy.
How far is the ice cream?
Ooh. Okay. Cool.
You said we saw it in the distance. I just wasn't
Yes.
sure.
Yeah. This is what Ruvyn would anticipate, considering how fast Ruvyn can move. If Ruvyn were to, hypothetically, alternate between hovering and phase sprinting, either across the tops of trees or different prominences in the distance, Ruvyn could get to the ice cream before it's dark. However, it would probably be a challenge to get all the way back to the creek manses before nightfall. Not impossible. I think Ruvyn would know it's certainly something that an experienced adventurer could perform.
Sure. Yeah. I didn't know if it was just like while they were talking sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Oh, gotcha. I mean, the talking is long, right? Like that conversation was in real time, right? So, you could get a head start, but
I mean, if it's gonna take like, because it's still just like late afternoon, right?
yeah, that's right.
I mean, you're talking on a matter of like an hour or more.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
They wouldn't do that then.
Okay. They
But
could
it was
definitely
like-
get close enough to get a closer look
Right.
if you
I mean,
prefer that. But
Save it for later. They
okay, sounds good.
if it's on that sort of scale, they wouldn't even considered it, right?
Okay, gotcha. Fair
But
enough.
That was just information for me.
Excellent.
But like, if it was closer than that, then it could be like while Blayse and Faye are talking, and like piggyback sprint, Vette over there
Ooh, that's a good idea. Yeah,
But-
cool.
and check it out. But we'll just continue on with what we're doing.
Okay. Sounds good. You're certain though that if, say, you were to come in the morning,
Mhm.
you could easily get to the ice cream and check it out, and then
Sure.
come back without any worry about not having safety at nightfall.
Right.
All right. Drew, you want to say something?
I was just gonna say that, yeah, have this little conversation with Blayse and probably head back to the manse and
Okay.
wait for the masters to arrive. Is kind of my thought.
Sounds good. Where would you like to have the conversation?
Just if we're in the trees and stuff, or were they going to take us back there right away, or let us go back there on our own? I'm not sure.
Oh yeah, so what they said was I need to return to the harvest before nightfall. So
Sure.
you have like, a few hours to yourselves. You can spend that at the groves if you want. It's a peaceful place, right? There are places to sit and talk, and you can move around. Or you can head back to the creek manses and try and find the robin again. It's entirely up to you.
So yeah, Blaze intended to stay at the grove, but I'll grab Faye before Faye gets
Mhm.
off.
Okay, sounds good.
So why are you being like that?
Being like, what?
You know, like you're playing a card game. Why don't you just tell them why we're here, or where we came from, and why are you hiding all that?
I'm not hiding that. I'm simply not dealing out information that may make them think we are a threat or a challenge or in some way dangerous. They
Well, we are
already. Good.
but we're already all three of those.
Correct. But they do not necessarily realize this. Notably, they were already friendly with us, so there was no need to bring up additional information that may make them think we are more of a threat and therefore something that they wish to avoid. Imagine as peaceful villagers taking in the harvest and warriors show up, like makes a big motion towards Blayse, right? There are four of us who are strange, armed, because like Ruvyn, or not Ruvyn. Well, yeah, actually Ruvyn has like a claw weapon thing, right, Chris? Or is it just literally, well, it's
Yeah,
their
okay.
hand.
Like a
Yeah, form.
Right, yeah, the forearm blade, right. You know, so there's three of us that are visibly armed, one of us who's a badass warrior, and like it hurts Faye to say it, right?
To acknowledge it.
Not just that, but like visibly, obviously so, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And
But
we
I don't understand. Like all those things are already patently obvious.
correct.
So why are we hiding?
We are not
I-
providing more than what is already blatantly obvious. If they knew that we were time travelers or that we came from a completely distant land, that may make us more of a danger in their eyes or more of a challenge, or for all we know, especially considering this time displacement temporal mechanic thing that they've got going on, maybe they want to pull us apart and dissect us.
Blaze has the reply, "They're welcome to try," but he shunts that to the side. And
Growth, that's personal growth.
okay, I don't understand, but you know more about these things than I do, so I'll follow your lead. But I think that if we're open and honest, if they find out later, it's going to make it worse, isn't it?
This is why I'm not lying to them. I'm simply not giving them extra information. Puts his hands on Blayse's shoulders, and I'm going to re-emphasize the fact that this man has a bunch of mechanical parts all over him, and says, you do not want somebody to look at you and think, I wonder how they come apart.
Okay. And that's it. That's
Yep.
good.
Yeah, I like that.
There's a reason Faye takes other things apart.
I want to talk to the one we've been speaking to. Like, I know
Okay.
they're working.
Yeah.
I want to try to make a telepathic link with them so that we can continue talking while they work.
Whoa, okay. So
Uh,
how do you approach this?
Basically now that they've gone back up on their ladder and are picking. Just going to say, I said I could facilitate communication. Would you like to see how that's done? It won't require you to cease work.
Perhaps.
I will touch your mind with mine.
Touch
You'll
my
hear me
mind.
in your head. Speaking
What?
without words.
What gave you this power?
Honestly, I'm not entirely sure, but where I'm from, these things happen sometimes.
And then they nod and they say, I will embrace your mind if you embrace mine.
Okay. Well, in that case, I don't think I have to roll. I think I just do it. And yeah, we'll link with them.
All right. The first thing that happens is you get the sensation or feeling of longing. Do you know the word saudade? The word in Brazilian Portuguese referring to like a melancholic missing feeling, kind of ambiguous longing, and regret mixed together of like nostalgia, a sad nostalgia. That's the feeling that you get. But it doesn't feel like this person is intentionally projecting that to you through this link. That just seems to be like a background emotion in their mind. And you can continue.
Okay.
Oh, also, Greg, I saw your question. I'll answer it in a moment.
And just through the link, I'm going to say hello again.
Hello. And it is quicker.
I figured this would be an easier way to talk, especially as you're working.
This does feel easier for me.
Interesting.
I'm curious to know if I just sort of keep talking to them, especially this way. Because they became more lucid the more they interacted with us, right?
Their movements didn't get more quick. They just seem to be paying closer attention to you.
Okay.
Yeah, like the kind of thing that happens where it was just like a slowed down version of what happens when you get somebody's attention and they're actually engaging you. Like if somebody's distracted by a task and they're like, yeah, I'll handle that later. Versus if you're like, please look at me, and you're like, okay, what's up?
Okay. I guess immediately I'm just gonna chat with them about the harvests
Cool.
and sort of learn how to do it.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So if you ask a question about the harvesting, what they would say is, it took us some time to learn the correct means to remove the geodes, and not to remove them too soon.
Oh yeah, I would tell them about the probably come through unbidden, kind of, but just like the image of the horrible rocks that we that we spent forever
Not
trying
great.
to chisel open with a knife.
Ah, that seems horrid.
Yeah, we again, we've traveled very far and had no food, and this was the first edible thing we had seen. It wasn't great.
I mean, to be fair, we have rations.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We weren't like starving. We just were like, hey, check it out, some food.
So nobody tried to eat the electronic marrow.
Could have sucked on the electronic whale bones.
Hey,
Nobody
maybe,
tried to
but-
eat the electric marrow yet.
That's right.
I mean, honestly, I don't know that Vette would have much in the way of rations.
We did mention that we got rations when we were at
Before we headed out from
Mhm.
Syria.
Yeah, and for the sake of everyone's understanding, someone did ask that question, and I confirmed, yes, your rations haven't spoiled in what seemed like, at least 500 years of stasis or transport, right? Like, nothing had happened to your stuff.
Like, man, sorry we picked unripe ones. The bird told us that was a mistake also.
It's a mistake for you.
So it's not some... I was worried we had committed some big faux pas.
Well, we need these geodes, but you didn't invade the groves and pick one of these before it was ripe. You
Okay.
must have just found a stray. These trees do dot the landscape, yet this seems to be the safest and most consistent place to find a large number that we can allow to ripen on the branch and remove when it is time.
So this wasn't an orchard that you made. You found it like this?
We found these groves at some point, I think. I'm not sure. As I said, so much has been lost.
I would like to do anything I can to help you recover what was lost.
It's a generous offer. Sometimes the hardest part about recovering what you've lost is realizing what it is that you want. And then you feel a sense of restrained desperation. And they ask a question in very measured telepathic tones. How deep can you go within my mind?
I can go deeper than this.
Oh. No.
I've never tried to see how far down, because it's usually, honestly, it's usually not done with permission, and it feels rude.
You have invaded others' minds before without their consent?
When seeking information that they don't wish to give, sometimes it's the only way. But with permission, I could see how far it goes.
I permit this.
Maybe you're helping him find things he's lost in his own mind.
Yeah,
That could be fun.
and that's basically what mind reading does. You can get surface thoughts or dig deeper. I don't think I'm page enough for the telepathy earlier. I think that's 3. Oh no, it says telepathy's free. Okay. Yeah, with that though, I'll just sort of dig in.
All right. So if you take your time, you can basically go as deep as you want. Some stuff is lost from this person's mind. Some stuff is still there, right? If you want to try and patch things together that are just fragments, that is going to be a challenge. So if you encounter something that is too ambiguous, and you want to try and restore it somehow, then I'm going to call for a roll. However, because you're just talking to this person while they're harvesting the fruit, and you've kind of done this, like you said, usually you've had to do this without consent. Because they have consent, they're yielding their mind to you in what honestly seems like an unsafe choice.
Yeah.
So
I get why
Let's
they're
get
doing
in there
it,
and
though.
scramble it up a little bit. See what you cover. See what you
yeah,
find.
exactly.
They're hoping I can find something, right?
Yes, they're desperate. Yeah, like I said, you can tell that. It doesn't register on their face, but that you distinctly get the sensation of this is the only thing they want, is to know what it was that they've forgotten.
It might be better to do this after resting and when you are not actively working. Because I suspect this might require some input from you as well. I don't want to impede your harvest.
You get the impression of gritting teeth, and they say, sure, perhaps another time.
In the morning,
Mm-hmm.
I have had a long day,
Yeah.
and I'm not at my best right now.
I understand.
But yes, I would like to do this for you.
Okay. Thank you. You're definitely getting the impression of like a real strong disappointment. Like they can't conceal. Like this is a person who has lost the artfulness that exists in even the least skilled liars over time, and you get
Blayse
the
is
impression that
feeling a little called out there.
they don't
mean-
believe that you are going to try again.
I mean, I still have the connection. I can try.
No, I know. I'm not telling you to try. I'm just trying to share with you what information is there.
I
Right?
know, I'm saying
I
when I
know you're
get
gonna
if I
try.
get this feel from them, I'd be like, well, I mean, I guess I'll try it now. Sure.
Well, it's like they're not asking you to do that, right? Like it's
Mhm.
entirely up to you how Vette would approach this, right? Like, and I'm not telling you not to, right? And it makes sense to me to wait until the morning. There definitely is a huge advantage to that. I'm just trying to share that like their feelings are you get them. It's unguarded, and like at first they're like so desperate, yes, please do this, and then you're like, hey, let's wait a little bit, and they have been waiting. Like this,
Yeah.
they didn't even know this is a possibility. And then you're like, let's wait until the morning. They're just like, I can't, what? Right? Like, it'll never happen. Whatever. Right? Like, so it definitely isn't me trying to dismiss your choice out of character. Just trying to add a little more color to their experience with this. So,
It is a break time.
yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah. Sorry. I was distracted. Yes. All right, everyone. We're going to take a short break. I think that's a good spot for it. All right. I will briefly, considering we're returning to the narrative, answer Craig's question on screen, so we all have that information, and the audience does as well. I might not have described this last session. It's possible I didn't. They look varying features, varying like lengths of hair and color of hair. The only consistency about their appearance is the color of their eyes and the alabaster nature of their skin. So they're varying heights and weights as well. But they're all adults. We would, in our reality, suggest that they are of varying ethnicities, races, and phenotypic appearances. But again, some of that is hard to discern because their skin tone is exactly the same.
And their eyes.
Yep, and their eyes. All right. So, I think it's prudent if Vette wants to wait till the morning. She's definitely going to be more capable at this, and it'll probably be more effective for them. Just she was able to perceive that unguarded feeling that the person had when they were harvesting the geodes.
But yeah, just while here for the rest of the time, I'm going to be like, I want to give them the things I've noticed they're missing. Like they had forgotten what a robin was.
Okay, yeah.
I'm going to show them like a living robin.
Oh,
and
that's a
the
good
eggs
idea.
that are the same color as their eyes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And just sort of give a little back and forth of like, are there other creatures that you have forgotten you forgot, basically?
That's the
Like, I know
worst
I had a,
question. What do you not remember?
I had a a thing. It's like art program with my high school where we had an artist who was blind, but still did paintings of like sea creatures with like puff paints, and
Yeah.
he had forgotten what seahorses look like,
Oh, wow.
so he couldn't draw them.
Yeah.
So, but like he remembered what a seahorse was.
Uh-huh.
So somebody like took a cardboard and made him a shape of one.
Oh, yeah.
That's cool.
So yeah, something like that, like a thing that you know you don't know.
Okay, gotcha. Remember having known this.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And see if
Okay,
I can help
good.
fill in the blanks.
That sounds good.
That's cool.
So this person remembers having known what a centipede was, but not what it looks like.
I feel like I would probably give it a millipede. Like, show the two things, because I don't know that Vette is 100% sure on which is which.
Okay,
I was,
cool.
I was like,
The-
wait.
The leggy bugs. Yes.
Mhm.
I am familiar with the concept.
Yeah. So they accept that because they, this person isn't able to discern the difference between the two. And it's also probably better that you didn't suddenly send them a new image of a scolopendromorph centipede, for example. And the ninth world centipedes, they're larger. So it would be a bit terrifying if you wondered what this thing is, and then suddenly it is 2 feet long and has forcipules. So millipede works, and that is what a centipede is in this person's mind now. They also don't remember what popcorn is.
Okay, yeah, I'm just gonna give them like memories of like cooking it over a fire with folks in a little pot,
Mm.
and the sounds and the smells.
Ooh. That's really satisfying. And then a third thing. Let's see, would they be honest about this?
Yeah, and in all this, you're also getting. They're getting more of Vette's memories than she probably wants to give them, because she's feeling homesick and like missing the people that she had these experiences with.
Oh, cool. She's being she's being really generous there, because these are special ways to know this, and this person has lost all of this, so you're giving them a really pleasant sensation of these things.
Mhm.
That's really cool. That's really generous of her. Okay, so then the last thing, they would seem hesitant about this because they know it's important. But they don't know what consolation. No, they use the word consolation. Let me see. They don't remember what it is distinctly like to see somebody again after not having seen them for a long time. Like seeing somebody, they have this, and they're having trouble describing it. They have this memory of perhaps caring for someone and them going away and then them not coming back. So this is what they're describing is the sensation of someone you love leaving and returning to you.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know if I have precisely the sort of relationship that they're trying to remember, but I would have like friends you haven't seen in a long time, or that were in a dangerous position, and that you find them afterwards. Like, if you were trying to do something that might have been illegal and risky.
Yes, that's great.
The sense of relief and comfort you feel when you meet back up later.
Yeah, that's awesome. They seem particularly encouraged by that. And they say, how can you remember all of this?
I've recently lost all of this.
Oh my gosh.
For you, it was long ago?
Yes, I have trouble remembering how long ago. I feel like I lost things over time. Like they evaporated from my mind over the years.
Like a puzzle with missing pieces. You know what the shape of it is, but you don't know what actually fits there.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes, these were all recent for me.
Oh,
It hasn't been long enough for them to get lost.
my gosh. I'm sorry.
We're trying to fix it. But in the meantime, if I could help you recover some of what you've lost, that would be nice.
I'd be grateful for that. Certainly. And then, again, in an artless way, they ask, is there more to the story about your time in the whale fall?
Yes, but I'm honestly not sure how much more.
Well,
I'm not sure how we got there.
You hear a laugh, and this is the first time, right? And they aren't laughing on the outside, but you hear a laugh. Like a laugh of surprise and delight. And they're also shocked at themselves that they're laughing. And they say, I don't know why I have that emotion, but I feel kinship with you. What is that? What do you call that?
A friendship?
It's Ash, of course it is.
Or
Friendship.
the beginnings of one.
And then they say, "That's great, but yes, also, why would I exhale that way?" Smiling. What do you call that?
Laughter. And I'm going to, like, actually laugh.
Oh shit. Okay.
But, like quietly, because we are in the peaceful, quiet grove, but
Mm-hmm.
just a little giggle.
The background of this very like tender psychic conversation happening is just Ruvyn just fucking sprinting and jumping off of things and like exploring and just like waiting.
ADHD waiting. Yes, correct.
Yeah,
I love it.
I'm waiting faster.
Also, Craig, whatever your great exclamation was there, yeah. Craig was muted, podcast folks. Sorry.
Ah. Yeah, I didn't hear either.
I was just commenting that it's great that Ruvyn's waiting is frenetic activity.
The other thing I'm kind of amused by is it is a nice, quiet little grove. And then suddenly that it starts laughing out loud for no reason.
Yeah, because y'all are not aware of this conversation even happening.
And they say, "I don't think I've laughed." Or no, they wouldn't say that. They say, "I don't think I've had laughter. I don't remember when I've had laughter. I don't remember the last time I've had laughter. Or I've heard laughter."
It feels nice.
Hmm.
Should try it.
And then it seems like something is coming to the fore of them. And they say, "Mirth.
Mhm.
Amusement."
You remember them?
I do now. Thank you.
Of course.
And then they say, they don't laugh. But what they say is, I doubt I have the energy to actually laugh the way you just did. But I will in my mind now.
Good.
I'm grateful.
Please scream in your heart.
Yeah. All right. Would you like to end the scene there? Continue.
I think we're good. Yeah, basically just as they're going about their picking,
Mhm.
just like casually chatting like that.
That's wonderful. They appreciate it very much. You can tell that their initial disappointment is ebbing away, and they'd forgotten about it.
I also feel like just being able to talk easily is good for them.
Yeah, quite true. It is much less exhausting for them. Careful. They might prefer it. Not want to talk to anybody in their voice.
Just like Listens over here frenetically running around.
Yeah.
Vette's just standing completely silent next to this guy.
And laughing. Not at all terrifying.
That's right. Okay. So, I'm happy to transition the scene if you all are waiting for me to do that, or you can choose to direct it. So, would you like to transition tonight?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. Cool. So nightfall comes, and it is you notice less gradual than it might seem in, for example, right, if you were in the northern hemisphere. Or I shouldn't say northern. If you were away from the equator, that's what I mean to say. Nightfall comes on more starkly, as though you are closer to the center of the planet. Gotcha. Along the equator. That's what I was trying to communicate. I should have just said that. And you hear a faint, like, crystal bell ding out within the grove. And you're all able to hear it because nobody's talking, right? Other than the intermittent sounds of Ruvyn's frenetic movements and Vette laughing. You just hear breathing, and you're all able to hear it, and then they all start moving, and they're moving real slowly. And there's a passage of about, what you now notice is 50 of them. And they all move out of the grove and start moving towards the creek manses. So if you walk with them, that's totally fine. They seem totally surprised when they see you. And they look towards the one that Vette has been interacting with. And this one hasn't said a name or anything yet.
I would have, I meant to ask them that.
Okay, gotcha.
I couldn't remember if you had told us it already or not.
No, I hadn't. They say, I'm going to need some time to think about that. And in the course of the conversation, at one point, they somewhat rudely, right, but excitedly remark, I remember. And then they pause like it's on the tip of their tongue. And then they say, my name was Lon. My name is Lon. My God. Names.
Standard elf situation.
Okay. And yeah, as they're grouping up to head back,
yeah,
I'm gonna introduce him to the rest of you.
Cool.
This is Lon. You say it out loud, because I don't imagine it's been said out loud.
Nope. And they all, you hear some murmuring of the name Lon among the other, we can call them elves. That's fine.
This is something reminding me of like a Galaxy Quest
So,
situation. The crew introducing themselves and the whispers through all the.
that's right.
Oh.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect. Yeah. So as you're walking back, right there, you just hear murmuring of Lon, and then you hear murmuring of other names. And so on the walk, go ahead. What's up, Chris?
As we're like walking back with some of them.
Yeah, you're walking back with them. Yep.
Ruvyn now has like got their zoomies out basically.
All right.
And is starting to like, okay, we've done the fast running. We've gotten some energy out. What is going on here? And so if I'm trying to understand or
diagnose,
I guess is maybe a good word for it.
Yeah.
Is that a Numenera thing?
Ooh,
is there an
interesting.
ongoing Numenera effect on these people?
Gotcha. Okay.
Happy to make a roll to discover that.
Yeah, I think so it would be a difficulty 8 understanding Numenera roll to understand what device might have influenced them. What Numenera related thing.
Sure.
However, you could very easily, with a difficulty 4 roll, recognize that there was likely the influence of some Numenera upon them at some point in the past that may be contributing to this effect.
So difficulty 8. Is there? Can I talk to one of them and ask to, or even maybe Lon, the same one, right?
Yeah, you can talk to Lon.
Because I've got a telepathy implant I could use.
Ooh.
And so getting that same viewpoint that Vette probably tells us about of like they're faster on the inside.
Yeah.
Does that count as an asset?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
And Lon will absolutely not reject that. If you say you want to if you say you want to embrace their mind as Vette embraced their mind, they'll be like, yes, please. Of course, it sounds like, yes, please.
Oh, no.
Damn.
All right. Well, I'm still going to give it to you that you recognize that there was. Yeah, I know.
Quick question.
Yes.
If the telepathy implant is being used, the cipher, would that count as an asset?
I did.
Oh, okay. I see. The difficulty is down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Chris
Yeah,
asked that.
we tried that. We got a 4 out of 6.
Yeah. So this is what happens. You can narrate Ruvyn's response to this as well, right? But I'll just provide you with what information is the consequence of not being able to discern this. So Ruvyn's trying to perhaps evaluate this person's mind on the inside and tell, okay, what does it seem like, right? As a nano, right, you've heard of things and experienced things and mess around with things that influence memories and influence perception, right? Which is, of course, an important part of it as well. And it could be a number of things. What you do think, though, is that they experienced something chronically. Somehow, for some reason, whatever it is, this had some effect on them that was not acute. So the condition they have was a result of exposure over time to something.
Okay.
Yep.
Did I understand that we are, like, possibly firmly on the opposite side of the globe?
Yeah, you understood that. You don't know precisely where, right? But you understood that when you looked at the stars and evaluated them.
Like pretty precisely, like direct, like Earth sandwich, or
I'd say coarse-grained, yes. Like, say you were, say you had 2 pieces of rye bread, right? And on the top there's like, one like weird-looking swirl.
Sure.
You wouldn't be on the precisely opposite side, right? Corresponding position. Okay. You'd probably be at another swirl on the other side.
Ruvyn will fully and dramatically lean into the guilt that by launching themselves forward in time, they have caused on the other side of the world a temporal slowdown.
Ooh, cool!
And ruin these people's lives.
Holy shit, I love that interpretation. Oh man, that's intense.
So even more lives you've ruined in your own mind.
Gosh.
Not just ours, but theirs too.
Yep.
Whew. That's
Let me give you a hug.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
This thought comes while connected via the telepathy implant.
Yep.
And I don't think it stays behind the barrier.
Oh shit.
Just the sudden, oh no, I did this to them.
Did this, yes.
So Lon, you experience a gasp. And then Lon, not knowing how to do this, trying to shut off the telepathy.
Right. As soon as Ruvyn gets a hint of like resistance, or the gasp even, and just like, oh god, what have I done? And just turns off.
And Lon looks at you with kind of an agape expression for minutes. but that's only because their movements are slow.
Right.
So this would be like somebody staring at you for 20 or 30 seconds,
Right.
aghast. And they turn back, but they don't say anything. They might say something later.
Because, like, I didn't get that.
Yeah.
That was entirely just between the two of you.
Yep. And they didn't just call you out.
I don't think they say anything about it, right? It's just
Mhm.
like, this is another layer of like private shame.
Yeah, that's right.
Private shame.
Oh, would that have included the fact that you're blaming yourself for what happened to us?
Yeah.
Because I did tell them that I've recently lost everything.
Yep. Oh yeah, I mean the whole, I mean the image of like reaching up with the nav locator and like then jumping forward in stasis, like that whole, all of that experience like just goes instantly.
Whoa.
Because you've got to think that Ruvyn's brain has to go fast to keep up with
Yes.
the speed that they have to move and stuff.
Yeah.
And so yeah, like they absolutely just like a lot of memories and a lot of guilt all happens all at once. And sorry to this poor elf.
They were not prepared for this.
No, they weren't. They were overwhelmed.
We've already sort of got a whole, monopoly on existential ennui, and you've just shown that that can be worse. So I don't know whether we should feel better now, but oh,
It's the nature of experience, isn't it? Yeah, wow. So I think it would probably be interesting for that exchange to be happening on the way, and the cut off, the flood to occur right before they get to the Creek Manses.
Sick.
If that's okay with you.
Yeah, no, I'm great with that. It's dramatically
Cool.
appropriate that we're about to like spend an evening and talk and
Yes.
probably eat together and stuff,
Yeah.
and like this has now happened.
Yeah. So yeah, that happens, and go sure. You need a minute?
Yes, I'm good.
Okay, cool. So you all get back, and gradually, as you're moving along the path, people are going down the elves. I'm going to start calling them elves because that's funny and convenient. So the elves are going down paths that you assume are leading to Creek Manses.
Sure.
And it's about 2 or 3 that goes down each of these paths as you're moving through. And it's not precisely evened out, but you get the impression that there are about 10 of these Creek Manses. So you're able to see 6, and you think there are 4 more because as you're passing through, you're moving past the groves and people are moving through the trees in order to get to the river, right? Get to the creek. So Lon takes you back to the first one. That is where Lon stays. And the Robin is sitting on the bank, splayed feet, weird with the wings down again, right? And then the Robin hops up and flies up so that it's head level with Lon and says, what does the master request? And then Lon looks at the Robin and says, I'm Lon. My name is Lon. Call me Lon. And then the Robin like perks up, says, Lon? The master wishes to be called Lon? And then Lon shakes their head slowly and says, I wish to be called Lon, not the master. And the Robin nods and says, What will Lon call this one?
That's what I was about to ask him. What is this one's name?
Yeah. And then Lon looks at that and looks back to Vette for like encouragement, and then looks back to the Robin and says, "This." Takes a deep breath and says, "Your name is Shore." Robin excitedly ruffles up and says, "This one is named Shore." And then flies up to each of you in turn and says, "This one is named Shore. This
The
one is named Shore."
enthusiasm of Dobby being given a sock.
That's right, exactly.
I'm just gonna hold out my hand to hold it and greet it and say, "Hello, Shore."
Hello, Vette. All right. So then Lon takes a brief moment to gain their bearings, and says, "Shore, please summon the Greek Mans." And Shore whistles excitedly and goes over to the Greek Mans and goes inside and looks kind of like haughty, right? Like,
He's got a name now.
yeah, this one has a name. So walks inside, and then you see the tether on the Creek Mans. Or no, sorry, there wasn't a tether. It was floating. What you see is you see the Creek Mans move over to the bank, and then a little walkway comes out,
Nice.
and a door opens at the base. Kind of like it was flush with it, but
Okay, it was like
What's up?
hidden, but now it opened.
Yep. Yep. And Lon, in a slow way, like it's obvious that Lon's about to motion you to go in, says, "I invite you into my manse."
Thank you.
In a brief time, the other Creek Manses will come to form the Flotilla. We can talk more there.
Okay. I had been
So-
wondering how you got inside.
Before entering Blayse
Yeah.
matching, their cadence of their speech says, "I
Uh-huh.
accept your hospitality." And then enters.
And holding out the hand, nods, allows everyone to enter. Okay. So when you go inside, you see the same kind of tasteful Scandinavian design that Ruvyn and Blayse saw the first time when they looked inside from the top. But there's more stuff here on the first floor.
It has a door now.
It does has a door, an opening. Yeah.
Makes
And yeah, you see a few rooms off to the side. Some portals, doors leading to them. You see what looks like maybe a couch, right? It looks like a couch. Probably a couch. Then you see an area that might be a place for serving food. And there's some other art on the walls. And then you find a bookcase. And it has what might be data pads, metal objects. They're arranged like you would see DVDs or metal shapes that size, right? Slotted somewhere on a shelf. So there's no books, but It looks like if these were, what are they? Metal books? I don't know, like ingots, right? Like that's what it looks like. You see this kind of, like dull metal, the color of like gunmetal, right? You see this like gunmetal shelf with these objects that are the same color, but clearly individual.
They have markings.
Slotted. No.
Sick.
Not on the spines, if we
Right.
call them spines, right?
Right.
Yeah. Not on the spines. On those edges. But yeah, there are 3 shelves in this bookcase, whatever it is. And in total, there's probably like, I don't know, 30 of these objects.
Ruvyn is pretty checked out.
Debating if Faye is... Because Faye likes tech, but I don't know that he's that level of nosy. Well, actually, I guess he probably would at least go investigate them enough to, like, get more of a look at them to see if they do have designs on them or anything like that. And then we'll eventually, like, because Lon, I imagine, is coming in as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and just inquire what they are.
Yeah, like Ruvyn is suspiciously uninterested.
Ooh,
I would say is
I love it.
How the maybe the group could see it.
Yeah, I would definitely be like, I would expect you to be all about that, right?
Yeah. So if Faye walks up to the bookshelf and takes one out, Faye would notice that this is some kind of clearly Numenera device. Looks like it's shielding something within. You feel you got conduits and things like that. You feel a very slight hum, pulse, presence of energy. But from when it's in your hand, right? Each of them weighs about a pound. And they are, it seems like seamless metal of the same color and nature as the shelf. But this is clearly some kind of Numenera device.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Ask our host, what are these exactly? Because especially if there's energy in them, Faye's not about to start poking at them just yet.
I don't remember.
Would you like me to connect everyone?
You see their eyes open, right? Like this is like, again, a complete, yes, a completely artless expression of emotion. And they say, yes.
Okay, yeah, I will link up, or well, Faye and Blayse and Lon, because I can't get Ruvyn.
How fitting.
I know.
Just unfortunately, this doesn't work on them.
Why
For some
not?
reason.
Oh, we're in telepathy. Sorry, go ahead.
We're in the brain now.
Yeah, that's right. Cool. Why not?
They've had some interesting life experiences that I think have sort of made it so that my brain can't touch theirs.
That's too bad.
Yeah.
Seems wrong to leave them out.
They have their own way of connecting.
Hmm.
I just can't touch.
Doesn't have it
Didn't they-
anymore.
Yeah.
Can you only use it once?
It's a cipher.
Ever.
Oh, well, I guess maybe I didn't know that.
They didn't say anything. That's the one thing you notice. Lon is not diming Ruvyn out.
That's nice.
Lon's got some feelings, but they're not doing that. Lon ain't no snitch.
Yeah, now they can tell you all about whatever that is, I guess.
I don't remember what they are. Each Creekman's has one, and I know they were important to us before, but I do not remember how to make use of them.
Ruvyn's just like noisily ruffling through their pack for like something to eat, and just like
So good.
have a little like sad Nutri-Grain bar.
Passive aggressively rustling through their pack, or like, are they trying to get attention, or just?
No, I mean,
Okay.
by nature of you all talking
In
telepathically,
Hmm.
it's the only noise in the house, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Just imagine
like-
eating like one of those awful crumbly, crunchy Nature Valley bars.
Oats and honey. Everyone loves them. That's why they sell them so much, right?
They
I
just
like
turn into dust.
Well, the ninth world's equivalent of a Sun Chips bag.
Yes. Oh man, sun chips. Oh, I could go for some sun chips. I need to get some this evening.
But
Uh,
Faye looks and says, with your permission, and bear in mind, Faye is saying all this out loud because he's not talking slowly,
Yeah.
right? And as far as he has seen, they don't have any problems understanding, right?
No processing.
Right. So just speaking out loud, because it's very rude when you're around somebody who can't interact to, talk without them. And, says, with your permission, Ruvyn and I could study them and see what exactly they are and how they work.
I grant you that permission.
That backpack slammed down. It's
And
like,
then they also see Ruvyn like eating, and they say, please tell Ruvyn that there will be food soon.
we get to eat after this, Ruvyn.
Okay.
We have no idea what this is, and we have permission to tear it apart and figure it out.
What?
I
You
don't
do
think
not have
that was.
permission to tear it apart.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I don't think that was the permission.
I asked if we could dismantle it and figure out what it is.
I don't think you said dismantle out of character, did you?
No.
I didn't hear just.
No, I was specifically. I believe the term I used was, discover what it is, but
Yeah.
that's not what Faye says.
Fantastic. All right.
Ruvyn,
But yeah,
Yeah.
they don't
Looks
remember.
up-
What was that, Chris?
Ruvyn like looks up and like takes it in for the first time. That thing? The bookshelf?
These things.
Okay. Yeah. How hard to check it?
Difficulty 4. Understanding Numenera.
Jesus, I better be able to hit this.
Yep. Because Faye is sitting there with you and is judging you.
Please hit this. All right.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Okay.
Yeah.
Ruvyn knows exactly what these are. Holding it in the hands, 1 pound, you realize, oh my gosh. Oh, this is just, it's a simple means of concealing plans and designs. This is like a ninth world blueprint.
All right, Chris, think very carefully of how you present this to Faye.
They're just. I'm trying to think of how Ruvyn could be dismissive of it because they're in a mood, right?
Right.
Yep.
It's just like drawings and plans or whatever. Like, it's a hard drive. Who cares?
Ooh, yeah.
It's just a hard drive? You can't tell what's on. Fine, I'm going to figure out.
I don't know what to. Yeah, this was a roll to discover what it is. I don't have a way of. Like, Ruvyn does not have any sort of
No, I
I'll elaborate.
Mega Man.exe jack in sort of technology.
I mean, there's probably something in the house that reads them then.
Probably something plugged into Faye that can read.
Also true. But yeah, no, Faye is going to look for other tools in the location. Notably, because if that's what it is, it probably slots into something. Because they're just resting on the bookshelf. They're not like slotted in. Okay.
That's
Yeah.
exactly right.
So
maybe ask Lon if there's something else here that they don't. What else in this house do they not remember what it does?
Right.
well, Faye's going one step farther and going, is there something of this shape? And now knowing what it is, Faye's like looking for, ports and stuff like that on the device.
A little iPad mini docking station.
Right.
Yeah.
And specifically asking because Shore is also in here, and Shore spends a lot of time in the Creek Manse.
Sure.
Yep.
Nice.
I'm glad you said that. So, when you ask, is there anything that, like, before you finish that, Shore says, Shore knows.
Are you sure? Sure?
Shore is sure. And then flies away excitedly and comes back. Shore comes back with what is a very thin piece of the same colored metal, right? It looks like it's about maybe an inch or two high, right? Deep enough for one of these things. It's in Shore's beak. Shore is carrying it, fluttering, and then moves over to one of the tables that has like a bowl with one of these fruits, and puts it down briefly, and then sits down again in that silly way, and starts trying to push the bowl with the fruit with their feet to slide it. And then says, Sure, thanks you. And then hops up and takes the thing and puts it down on top of like a pin. There's like this pin underneath the bowl. The bowl is like slightly concave on the bottom. And there's this pin, there's a hole on the other side, and puts it down on there. And all of a sudden, that little stupid thing that Shore was carrying hums. And then Shore says, Shore thinks this is for it.
All right. Let's see what we have here. And then starts to like the poor lady who can't quite figure out the self-checkout machine. It's like, I'm just going to slide this or turn this or where's... Yeah.
Shore directs the orientation. And when you put it on there, the first thing you see is the symbol of the convergence.
Great.
This took a turn.
Cool.
Great.
Ruvyn is having a very bad day.
Ruvyn leaves.
Now,
Oh,
to clarify something here real quick, Ralph, because there are two things called convergence in our Numenera game.
Is there?
Are there?
Yes.
What is that?
There is the stellar convergence that you have referred to.
Conjunction.
Oh, okay, cool.
I deliberately used the word conjunction.
Okay, right. Because the convergence is my crap.
Yes.
Oh, never mind. I'm
The
not upset.
convergence is something
Right, that's what I was like,
I
wait,
don't
Chris,
know
hang
if
on.
Faye has told anyone about this.
Nope.
Oh, it's your like cult, right?
All right, back that
Hang on,
up.
I ain't involved with these folks, all right? Let's just be... And I think actually that's immediately what Faye is like, okay, hang on, guys. I didn't know anything about this. And probably gets like blank stares.
Yeah, they're supposed to have no idea what you're
Ruvyn is paying very close attention now.
Yeah.
There is blood in the water that this might not be his fault. Their fault.
Yeah. That's exactly right.
What are you talking about, Faye?
You don't
I don't
recognize this.
understand what you're talking about most of the time, but now I'm really out of the loop.
You
What is
don't.
this?
Does everybody not know the convergence? Oh, okay, yeah, no, yeah, they're bad guys. We're gonna go with that. They're
Okay.
okay. So Aeon priests, because I know you all like the Aeon. You all like the Aeon priests.
Some of us have, trained
Right.
inside them and things. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, like turning away from Blayse. Yeah, it's like them, but more I would say sadistic, selfish. We'll go with selfish.
Okay.
Yeah, collect knowledge, collect information, collect technology. Yeah, that's these guys.
How are they different from the Aeon Priests?
Because Aeon Priests shared the information
Yeah.
kind of openly. The Convergence uses the technology to better themselves over others.
So why do these future elves have convergence stuff?
Looking over at Lon, it's like, that is a good question. But first, and Faye goes on a blitz through all these real quick, not even trying to get the data out, but to see if they all have convergence or just was it this one? Because suddenly Faye is like, am I sitting in the middle of what was a bunch of convergence folks?
So you slot each of these in excitedly, and Lon is kind of watching you bemusedly. And every time you put one of these objects into the slot, the first thing you see as it hums and connects is the symbol of the convergence floating in this holographic display above the table. When you say this about it and you ask who these people are, Lon shrugs slowly again and says, I don't remember. All I remember is that convergence was all that we knew before the ice cream. I don't know how to make sense of these. And then in your mind, you would hear Lon saying more quickly, Ruvyn knew how to understand these quickly. Perhaps Ruvyn could access their secrets. And then also, Lon asks Faye a direct question. Why do you think that the convergence is bad?
I do not think that they are bad. I know that they are bad.
I have a faint memory of the opposite.
Could you elaborate? Faye is probably for the first time for the party, like, aggressive.
Ooh, cool. Lon says, in your mind, I cannot elaborate because I don't remember anything else. Perhaps that can help me with that.
Faye Faye jumps to, here, let me show you.
Oh, shit.
Oh, fuck.
Oh no!
Oh no! Yeah.
My poor elf friend, what have you done?
So, how much intensity do you show, Lon?
Not a ton, but it is very it's clinical, but it is not shy about Faye's childhood and the people that he hung around and the things that happened to him.
Oh.
And this is through the telepathic link, so we're all getting this?
Technically, only Vette is getting this. Because Vette is the one sitting in the middle.
Yeah.
Like it's
That would have to choose to pass it through.
Vette had herself on relay or whatever, right? So,
But to be fair, because and Ash, you have 100% my permission to filter and save your poor friend. But yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I would definitely because I'm getting all this the first time, just like, huh.
Oof.
Which I don't think Faye has even clicked that Vette is passing this through. It's just as soon as get that message from Lon, you think the convergence is okay? Let me show ya.
Oof.
Yeah, I would definitely filter some of that. I don't know, enough to get that you had a very bad experience with these people, a bad childhood. I guess to show that, show to him that his experiences are not universal. Just you might remember them being good, but here's also some very bad things.
and saying maybe there is a nice faction of the Convergence. Okay,
but that's not what
that's not
what they
phase.
experienced.
Yep.
So is that shared with those two?
I feel like I would let Faye tell you. Because again, I don't know that he fully comprehended what he was doing when he told me.
And I'm going to put points to Vette here for being, my friend is having a moment. Let me...
Lon says, that's terrible.
Tomorrow, I'll see what I can help you remember.
Thank you.
And I want to quickly, out of character, mention Faye is not mad at these people who have no memories, right?
Oh,
This
yeah.
is this is just more.
I think that came across.
Okay,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, I feel
more
like
just like the surprise, the sudden surprise and hurt is what you're trying to convey, right?
Yeah. Makes
Yeah.
sense to me.
I was getting kind of more of a frightened vibe
Yeah.
of like,
Mhm.
and if we do get them their memories back, what does that mean for you?
Oh, yeah.
Jump back to previously talking to Blayse.
Yeah. So I'm definitely gonna want to talk to you before I go through all this tomorrow with him, because yeah, I am concerned as to what that might mean for you as well.
So Blayse all like, what's going on? I don't.
I'm just gonna
understand.
point between you two.
you guys got to work that out later.
Yeah.
Ruvyn has like, I think in the sort of like manic way that they can get sometimes is now like, well, I know I'm still feeling this and I still do like, there's a possibility that I've done this, but there's enough going on now that they've like come out of that, and now it's like, okay, you know what? I was unfair to this bookshelf. Let's check it out some more.
Awesome.
But I also didn't like. I already figured out how it worked for
Yep.
everyone, but I didn't know if like, was there? If I guess I'm asking you out of character, is there more reasons that I would have to do this versus the person that actually understands plans and things?
They're pretty engrossed with the plans. I'd like to assume that they're all having a conversation with Lon, and Faye was responded pretty strongly to Lon saying, I don't know why the Convergence is bad, right? Even though they don't have any memories, right? They don't have a strong memory of the Convergence being other than at least non-negative,
Right.
if not a positive force.
And since everything is happening telepathically, Ruvyn, I guess,
Yes.
like moves like gets a less crumbly thing to eat.
Cool.
And then is like at this little like console or whatever.
Yep.
And it's like, well, I guess I got to figure out what this is myself.
Yes. Perfect. So yeah, Ruvyn can further go through these, especially after recognizing that, oh, this contains information, plans, and display. This is what you use to store designs.
Are there? I mean, I assume I have some way of like, or can they be marked upon?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know how to do that.
Okay.
So you know how to do with a holographic display like this is you use a little pulse of energy.
I meant the
Cases
drives themselves.
Oh, gotcha. I'm sorry. You could inscribe on them if you wanted. Like, is that what you mean? Or do you mean
I
want
just
to write
like.
on
I mean, yeah. Like, can I? Like, if I have a, I mean, just a
Sharpie.
like a Sharpie, essentially. Like,
Gotcha.
basically, the idea is to very quickly come up with an organization of these, of what they are, and what might be helpful for us to go through, what might be helpful for us to like turn this into an actual functional library that these people can look through
Totally.
to like.
I'll tell you what
improve
happens.
Yeah, because Ruvyn, like, especially on top of the guilt that they've imbued themselves with, like, they very much are. We're already concerned about, like, how do we make these people's lives better before we leave?
Totally.
Because they're, like, nearly starving to death every single day, and it's not great.
No, it isn't. It isn't great. You're right about that. So this is what happens. You engage them because you weren't the one who slotted it in there. You just recognized it and left it to Fae. But once you engage it, you know how to deal with this. So this is what happens. The symbol of the convergence came up every time, but no one went past that. If you engage it, you would know how to get past it on display. And then it shows the plans and the title and stuff like that. Immediately after removing it from that, right? It leaves this like laser engraved imprint on the surface of what the name of the plan is. So you don't need to mark it with a Sharpie.
Great.
Yep. After you take it out, having gotten past the convergence, as though these are being activated.
In just a blur, right?
Yep.
Ruvyn is just like,
scanning all of them. Yeah,
just absolutely like doing these things organized and like starting to sort some piles that, like, not putting them back on the bookshelf immediately, right? But like just like making the piles even like at their feet if they have to, right? And it's just like, okay, this is for Faye to look at immediately. This is for things that we should tell them to look at. Like,
I like
makes
complete sense to me. Yeah, you can do that easily.
Cool.
Also, I kind of look.
Anything that specifically, like, I mean, I assume there's like, it's like community building projects, right? The idea that I think Ruvyn quickly gets is these people's lives didn't get fully set up.
Yes.
Right.
That's exactly
and so basically they start trying to like.
They just hit the space bar through the character creation.
Something else. Who knows what happened? Maybe they forgot their purpose.
Yeah, their thought process doesn't go fully all the way to like, this is a game. This is a subsystem that people didn't engage with, but it's like it's on the border of that sort of manic thinking, right? Of like,
that's fine to me.
And so I guess my question would be, is there anything in particular that stands out as different or interesting? Or dangerous?
So you see standard stuff like setting up water purification, harvesting resources, agriculture. You see building homes. You see all kinds of stuff like that. You also see restore fertility.
Which type of fertility?
You see restore human fertility.
Right.
So time check. Thanks, Craig. Yeah, we'll be wrapping up soon. Yeah, you see a plan for biology as though their fertility was put in stasis. You also see a plan for restored senescence, which of course is aging, right? Which implies that perhaps their aging was stopped.
Interesting.
There's one more thing I want to note, but I want to make sure you're all able to engage it how you like with the information.
I mean, I assume they're still talking while I'm doing this.
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like this is information that Ruvyn's getting.
Yeah. And Ruvyn's not trying to interrupt and make people like do two things at once, right? So
okay, fantastic, great. So you see that. There's nothing you see about return, but I think the interesting things that you would notice that probably stand out past standard community building stuff, or like a new home, village, society, wherever it is restore fertility and restore senescence.
What's this last word you just said?
Senescence, the process of aging.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, so
very likely why they're kind of frozen.
Exactly, which implies
Holy shit,
yes, they've been made.
Have been paused.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes. Let's say on that note, you feel a shudder, which is not disheartening, but is distinct. And a window opens past the desk where Ruvyn has been working on these items. And, in the same room where you're all chatting telepathically, and you see that all the creek manses have moved up and linked up with each other. And some railings have opened up, and a door opens on the far side of this room, and you can see all the way into the same kind of rooms of these creek manses, and it looks like a party's about to start.
It's like when you get the connected hotel rooms.
Yes, exactly. That is exactly it. And it's on the creek, baby.
I mean, yeah, you can do that with boats on the creek.
Yep.
Houseboats, y'all.
We actually did that in our training flotilla. We raft up.
Cool. That's what I'm talking about.
I think that's a good place to stop.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful. Cool. That's what I figured. Alrighty. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Oh, it's so fun. I love Cypher System. Shout out to Monty Cook Games. And also, I really appreciate the four of you. You entertain me so much, how you engage the setting and the system. I love this. I'm having such a good time. Thanks to all our patrons out there for supporting us, following along, listening, y'all on YouTube, anyone who pays attention or encourages us to do this, or even just chats about it briefly. We're really grateful for that. If you would like to join those who are so generous, you can do so at staylucky.club. And if you are interested in joining us for in and out of character conversations, sharing animal pics, food pics, raving about your own games, having complex conversations about the mechanics and design of various systems, please join us at eatinto.space. With that said, you all have any last words for anybody?
Nah. See you next week.
See you.
Oh,
See you next week.
I will mention real quick,
Yes.
just in passing,
Go ahead.
we're playing next week. Week after that, we'll be off. So you can make plans in advance.
That's helpful.
Yep. All right, thanks,
Plans
Mike.
in advance.
All right. Stay curious. Later, everybody.
Everybody.